President Joe Biden's call for unity amid Trump's election victory. On Thursday, following the shocking and decisive victory of former President Donald Trump in the U.S. presidential election, President Joe Biden called on Americans to bring down the temperature and urged his fellow Democrats, who were reeling from the loss, to find solace in the face of defeat. In a somber yet determined speech delivered at the White House Rose Garden, Biden sought to console a party that had seen its hopes dashed as Trump staged an unexpected comeback. Setbacks are inevitable in life, but giving up is unforgivable, Biden said, addressing the concerns of his supporters, particularly Vice President Kamala Harris' defeat in the election. A defeat does not mean we are defeated. Biden added, reminding everyone that political setbacks, while painful, are part of the democratic process. A call for calm and reflection. The president acknowledged the frustration of those who were disheartened by the outcome, especially among Democrats who had invested heavily in the 2024 election. Biden urged Americans, regardless of who they had voted for, to see each other not as adversaries but as fellow Americans. His message was clear: it was time to bring down the temperature in a polarized nation and put aside political divisions for the greater good of the country. He emphasized the importance of respecting the integrity of the U.S. electoral system, which, despite the challenges posed by Trump's baseless claims of voter fraud, had proven to be both fair and transparent. Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is to see each other not as adversaries but as fellow Americans, Biden said. We need to bring down the temperature, he added, pointing to the importance of unity in the face of a divisive and contentious election. He also addressed the recurring concerns surrounding the integrity of the electoral system, which Trump had repeatedly questioned during his campaign. Biden's comments, while not directly targeting Trump, served as a rebuttal to the former president's ongoing claims of widespread fraud in the 2020 election. The American electoral system is honest, fair, and transparent, Biden stated, underscoring that it could be trusted, regardless of the election's outcome. An offer to meet with Trump. In a gesture of political civility, Biden extended an invitation to Trump to meet with him at the White House, emphasizing the need for a peaceful transfer of power. This was an offer that Trump had not extended to Biden back in 2020. The White House confirmed that the president-elect, Trump, had accepted the invitation, marking a moment of reconciliation and cooperation between the two political rivals. As Trump began the process of selecting his key personnel for his second term, including advisors and cabinet members, Biden remained focused on ensuring a smooth transition of power. The coming weeks, he acknowledged, would be crucial in maintaining the stability and integrity of the U.S. government. Biden's legacy and party struggles. While Biden's victory in 2020 was framed as a win for restoring the soul of America, the political landscape had shifted considerably by 2024. In the aftermath of the election, many Democrats voiced their concerns, with some blaming Biden for Harris' defeat and suggesting that his decision to run for re-election had been a miscalculation. At 81 years old, Biden faced mounting criticism regarding his ability to take on the rigors of another term. Some Democrats, particularly those from younger, more progressive wings of the party, argued that Biden's age and political vision had not resonated with a majority of voters. Biden, in his speech, acknowledged the pain of loss but urged his supporters to keep fighting for their values. "We lost this battle," he said, "but the America of your dreams is calling for you to get back up." His message, while somber, was also one of resilience, in an attempt to rally Democrats to regroup and continue advocating for the party's ideals in the face of adversity. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris also took to the stage to console her supporters. Harris, like Biden, promised to work with the incoming administration, offering her help during Trump's transition period before he takes office on January 20th. She, too, emphasized the importance of staying true to their values and continuing the fight for a more progressive America. However, there was a palpable sense of disillusionment among many Democrats. Some feared that their values, left-leaning, socially liberal positions were no longer reflective of the broader American public. This sentiment was compounded by frustrations over the party's leadership, which, some argued, had become out of touch with the struggles of ordinary Americans, particularly when it came to issues like inflation and the rising cost of living. Trump's resounding victory and its implications. Trump's victory was not only unexpected but also decisive. Despite early polling that suggested a tight race, Trump triumphed in key battleground states, securing 295 electoral college votes, well beyond the 270 required to win the presidency. His win was fueled, in part, by discontent among Americans over economic issues, particularly inflation and concerns about border security. Voters from traditionally Democratic constituencies, including Hispanic voters and lower-income households, were key to Trump's victory. These groups, hit hardest by rising prices and a struggling economy, found themselves aligning with Trump's rhetoric on economic issues and national security. Trump's campaign had centered on his claims that Biden and the Democrats had mishandled the economy, particularly inflation, which had become one of the most pressing concerns for American families. Harris' campaign, on the other hand, had focused on Trump's character flaws, his criminal record, and his role in inciting the January 6th Capitol insurrection. She had painted Trump as unfit to serve another term, given his attempts to subvert the results of the 2020 election and his criminal conviction. However, the electorate's decision to hand Trump another term in office signaled a shift in the political mood of the country, especially in those swing states that had once been strongholds for Democrats. Trump's victory meant that his influence over the Republican Party had reached new heights. The GOP had increasingly adopted his populist agenda, and many of his policies, from tough immigration laws to tariffs on foreign goods, were likely to become central to his second term. Shifting political dynamics and global reactions. The 2024 election had a significant impact on the broader political landscape, not only in the U.S., but also globally. Trump's win was seen as a repudiation of Biden's more centrist policies and a return to a more combative, nationalist approach in American politics. The global stock markets reacted positively to the outcome, with U.S. shares experiencing a record rise. However, the prospect of renewed tariffs and trade wars under Trump's leadership raised concerns among international investors, particularly in industries like automotive manufacturing and semiconductor production. Trump's return to the White House also meant that he would have more political freedom, given the Republican Party's control of the Senate, which it had regained in the midterm elections. Republicans were also poised to retain control of the House of Representatives, although several races remained too close to call. This new Republican majority would enable Trump to implement his agenda with minimal resistance from Congress. On the international stage, Trump's win was met with mixed reactions. Chinese President Xi Jinping extended a congratulatory message, expressing hopes for peaceful coexistence between the two nations. However, Trump had been vocal in his criticism of China during his first term, and his policies on trade and tariffs were likely to lead to renewed tensions between the two superpowers. In Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky also congratulated Trump, despite his past criticisms of U.S. aid to Ukraine in its ongoing war with Russia. Trump had previously suggested that he could end the war within 24 hours, though he did not elaborate on how he would achieve that goal. His position on Ukraine's security was one of the key foreign policy issues that would shape his second term. Preparing for the transition. As Biden prepared to hand over power, his administration made efforts to secure billions of dollars in security assistance for Ukraine before Trump took office. This move was aimed at ensuring that Ukraine's government could continue to defend itself against Russian aggression during the transitional period. The urgency of these actions underscored the uncertainty surrounding U.S. foreign policy under Trump's leadership. In the months leading up to his inauguration, Trump began selecting his key advisors and cabinet members, with names like Tesla CEO Elon Musk and former presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. being floated as potential appointments. Meanwhile, former Trump officials such as Mike Pompeo and Robert O'Brien were expected to return to positions of power within the new administration. The coming months promised to be a period of intense political recalibration for both parties, as Trump set the stage for his second term and Biden and the Democrats navigated the challenges of regrouping after a significant defeat. As Biden had urged, the time had come for Americans to reflect, heal, and ultimately move forward together in a spirit of unity, no matter how difficult